So Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host and I take excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello, I'm here. I'm ready to talk about some cool things, including, you guessed it, everybody, the big release of last week, Disney Speedstorm.
We will talk about it later. And everybody, we got the Digimon discusser himself, Mr. Daniel McGar. Hello, good sir.
Hey, what's going on? I haven't played Speedstorm, but Lego 2K Drive is just in the wings waiting.
Yeah.
You're missing out, man. You're missing out.
And everybody.
Not really. It's fine.
I have to gas. I have to good googly moogly because we have a top tier, phenomenal guest here.
Yeah.
He is just an all-around amazing guy. He created a Mario mix that if you do not know about it, you need to get into it. You're trying to get ready for the summer, he has the tracks for it. Everybody, please welcome the one, the only. I'm just going to give him Grammy Award-winning creator. Mustin. Hello, good sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. I had to hype you up because I'm super excited and everything.
Well, I wish you would act like it. I mean,
okay. So I have to ask Mustin.
Go for it.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
What would you do with that trailer? Could you make it a chill hop beat? And what are your thoughts on the trailer overall?
Oh man, everybody's about to turn this podcast off. I think that I would do a real troll move and sing a really bad version of like Lost Woods from Ocarina and do it really terrible techno. And I would put a big tingle farting on it because I can't stand that Breath of the Wild game, and I'm not excited about the new one. I just don't. Well, you know what I found out though? Here. Let me explain myself a little bit. My son is an idiot, and he played the game in this way where all he did was go around running, and he kept going to these temple places. And this is in the background while I'm working because my office is the shrines, and he's on the TV, and I kept hearing this terrible music and busting his balls, and I'm like, how is this Zelda? And he's like, look at this stick, and I'm like, where's your sword? So like it just kept going back and forth, and he did the same thing again. The moron bought it again for the Switch because he did all this on the Wii U, and he went through and did the same thing, and I thought this was the whole game, y'all. I thought it was just going to these temples. And then one day he was like, I finally finished the last thing that I need. He basically went through the game to get all of the stuff that he could, basically just grinding and getting things. And then one day I came out of another room and there was like music playing and it was pretty. And he was in a town. I was like, there's a town in this game? You're telling me for the past like 6 years you've been playing this game and there's like other things happening? So I really got a sour taste of what it was, and then I also got burned because my ex-wife and I, we loved playing. One of my favorite Zelda games is that what was it called? The Battle of Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, sorry y'all, but then the new one came out, and I got that off of Facebook Marketplace. And I played that, and it was just Breath of the Wild again. And I was like, dadgummit, because it had the same music and the same stupid bad guys. And I was just like, fudge, man. So I've been trying to find someone on Twitter that'll trade me. And they won't, because they know it's a terrible game. I don't want to play that Calamity Ganon mess. So I'm not excited. I'm not your person for that, because all of my Zeldas are all the handhelds. I mean,
Mm.
I played the OG, and I was like, what the hell is this on the second one? And then I did play Link to the Past, but my first like Zelda was Link's Awakening, in the back of the car waiting for the street light to go by
Yes.
so I could see it. And that was the real deal. I took 8 pieces of notebook paper. I drew out the entire map, where every seashell is, where every heart piece, everything. And I was such a nerd that a trombone player in the marching band bullied me to take my guide, and he was like, I want to borrow that so I can play it. And I was like, don't take my, I read it. And he was just like, he took it. The trombone nerd guy in the band bullied me by taking my
Oh
map
no!
that I made. I never saw it again. If I ever see that dude, I swear to God.
To be
Ooh.
fair,
Did you?
trombone players are pretty, they got to
Pretty,
be pretty beefy to carry that giant
they're a little aggro, man.
tuba.
Yeah. Did you play Link's Awakening on the Switch, the remake?
I did. I bought it in hopes that it would be my daughter's first Zelda, but I don't know. She's just like she's a Stardew Valley Mario Kart kind of kid, and that's fine. I'll drop her off at the police station later. But I my son did go through and play it, and I laughed at him because he likes Zelda. He likes Skyward Sword. Didn't you say that was your favorite, Daniel? Um,
Yep.
yeah. So he likes that one a lot, and he loved. See, that's another thing. I did not like Ocarina when it came out. It's like, fuck this, it's like kicking it across the room. I don't like this. And one part of it is kind of my own thing, because I just am terrified of water, y'all. I can't deal with it. And even in a video game, when you get into the water and you're swimming and the music stops
Mm.
playing and you're trying to get across Lake Hyrule, I'm like, nope. I threw that controller. I'm like, done with this. But they remade it on the 3DS, and when I gave my kids 3DSs for Christmas, I got them that game because he likes some Zelda. And I'm glad that I sat down and played Ocarina on the 3DS, because one, it was better. They cleaned it up with the graphics. Two, it was just tight. I like being able to take something somewhere, because I would be at work and playing it on breaks. And three, I'm really glad that I gave it another chance, because I think the Shadow Temple is one of the best levels in any video game I've ever played. It's just so
Ooh.
cool and fun and interesting and spooky, and it was really, really good. So I'm glad I gave it another chance. But yeah, I've just been all handheld. So even Ocarina I didn't do until it was on a 3DS. I loved A Link Between Worlds. I did
I
not
just
like all
love
that
that.
sailing and all that mess, and the dadgum Wind Waker. I didn't.
No, no, not Wind Waker.
But
Oh
Phantom Hourglass is chef's kiss, except for having to go back to that daggum temple over and over. But like, Linebeck is one of my favorite Nintendo characters ever. He's got a great theme. He's just this
no. Mm.
stupid wannabe cool guy who's a huge scaredy cat. I like it. He really reminded me of myself. So yeah, I'm a handheld Zelda guy. I don't really care about this one. My son though, he's like, yeah, and that's fine for him. He got dropped on the head on a lot. I dropped on his head when he was a kid, so I get it.
Did you plan on like watching people play it at least, or watch your son play it at least, just to get like an idea?
I think it'll be the same thing, where it's going to be on here in the living room, and I'm going to be trying to work on spreadsheets, and I'll be like, God, get that Guardian music off. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, because like I said, 6 years or so. I mean, whenever it came out on Wii U, and playing and playing and playing, and then moving around and stuff, and then again buying it here, knowing that the new one's coming out, and then playing it, playing it, playing it, and then one day I heard a town theme, which I'd never heard before. Absolutely nuts. I couldn't believe
Mhm.
it. But I'd listened to the soundtrack separate of it, and so I just didn't remember because I was so angry. Anytime I hear that music for whatever it is in the temple, or like you're training or something, I think it's like a training music, and it's like, sounds like a
Yeah.
robot falling apart. Oh my god. I mean, what happened to those themes? Like, I understand it's a different setting and you want to have a different
Mm.
feeling to it, but when you go back and listen to Dark World from Link to the Past, or Telltale Heights from Link's Awakening, I mean, what are you doing, man? That's not. You can't sing the stuff
I,
and go, and that's my problem. Is like I don't love a melody that much if you can't
mhm.
sing it, or if it doesn't have like a bass line that you can really get down to, like River City Ransom has a do 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 do, like
Mhm.
just something where you can get into the groove. But all that Zelda Breath of the Wild just sounds like boop, 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 boop.
It's
And then
it's
there's a piano chord
it's
with 8
more
notes at the same time.
it's
Not
more
for me, man.
natural, like being out. So I mean, I
Man,
can
I got a
understand,
door.
but
I got
it's
a
to
front
me, it's
door. I
so
had a
good.
front door installed. I got this front door. I opened that thing out, and boom, I got full 1080p nature out there, fam. There's birds and
Well,
stuff. I can.
before we go on, Mustin, you want to introduce yourself to the people and what you do when it comes to music?
Uh, yeah. So I'm a Mustin. We established that, and I am a producer. I have been working with music. Uh, I've been producing music, I guess, for over 20 years. I did my first video game remix probably in 1993 or 4, probably. No, 95.
Ooh.
I took, in 95, I was in junior high and I wrote the Magus theme for 2 clarinets and a bass clarinet from Chrono Trigger. And then I had some kids in my band class perform it for me. And this is pre TikTok, pre YouTube, pre MySpace, pre
Mm-hmm.
cell phone, like anything. So there was nothing. That was it. I was like, thanks for playing that. And that was it. And I still have the pieces of sheet music in my memory chest, but there's no like evidence of these things of where I did do arrangements of video game musics, including the Zelda theme for a sax choir that I did. But in 2000, I started doing electronic stuff, and I I initially found the emulation scene. I remembered that I always rented Mega Man 3, but I never was able to beat it. So I got that, and then I was playing it on my computer. And then I was like, wow, this music is fantastic. And so I did a medley of Mega Man 3. And in June of 2000, I submitted it to a site I found called Overclocked Remix. And I think it was
Yeah,
like number 78 of the arrangements they have, which are now in the 5,000s. So that's how long ago I've been doing this. I since then, in 2001, I co-founded the OneUps, which is the second longest video game music band running in the world after the Mini Bosses. And I've produced like 50 albums, different groups, everything from guitar duos to producer super groups, other people that do what I do, and then bands, people that get into the same room and play. And the last thing that I did was my son challenged me to make an album and do it quickly. My first solo album took me 17 years, but my son grabbed me by the shoulders and shook me after he saw that I made a game over music from Super Mario World. I
mm-hmm.
was making a ringtone for my daughter for Christmas, this past Christmas, and once he saw I did that in 40 minutes, he was so mad. So from then, he became the executive producer. He went through a list that I have of licensable Nintendo Music.pdf. And he went through that and he said, you're doing a Mario series. You're going to do all these Mario tracks. You're going to do it in these styles. And we're going to market it like this. And you're going to get it done at the end of February. And then I laughed in his face. And I said, you know what is happening this year? It's the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming out in April. Let's see if we can get it done by April 4th, the Tuesday before the movie comes out. And so we did. It was amazing. Did it in 88 days. I couldn't believe it. That's fast as
Wow,
I've ever done
88
something.
days.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
I
13
have to
tracks. Yeah.
ask. You talked about electronic music from games. You didn't. Let me ask. You didn't experience Streets of Rage 2
Yeah. What about Streets of Rage 2?
when the music came out. Like hearing that house,
Oh, man.
not trap, but
Yeah.
house and hard
It
house.
was, it was 92. That was an interesting night. I got a Super Nintendo finally. Um, and I took it over to some kids' house because I want to play Mario World. Everybody got to play Mario World. I didn't play Mario World except for the kiosk at
Mhm.
Toys R Us and Kmart. And I took it over there. But another kid came and spent the night that wasn't my friend, but was my friend's friend. So you know how that goes, right? You got that dynamic of trying to figure out, who's the real friend? Just trying to figure out who's going to do what. Well, that kid brought a Sega Genesis. And so my friend had rented some game called Final Fantasy or something, and then this other kid came and brought a Genesis, and he had Madden something football sports ball Madden, and he had a game Streets of Rage 2. So I got to experience this Streets of Rage 2 game. I was like, man, this is amazing. We played it for a long time, and then I wanted to play Mario World because I brought my Super Nintendo, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Okay, you have Super Nintendo, sweet. We're gonna play this Final Fantasy game." And I'm like, "Yo, this sucks, bro." Like, they're sitting there like with these like we had just played Streets of Rage 2. You got these big characters, awesome sprites moving, and it's FM music and everything. It's sweet. And then you go to Final Fantasy 2, and it's got these little tiny things, and they just do a little thing, and then and it's just obnoxious. So I was just so mad, and I'm just sitting there piddling, looking at Nintendo Power or something, and finally, like I kind of like fell asleep, and then they fell asleep, but I woke up, and it was like 2 in the morning, and there was the game was on, the Final Fantasy game. The next thing that happened was like 8 o'clock in the morning. They woke up and they're like, "Dude, you got to check this out, man. Cecil's a paladin. We got all this stuff going on, man. We got all these spells. You got to see this." I just got hooked. So I just I did both awesome things in one night. I got hooked on Streets of Rage 2, and I got hooked on Final Fantasy from that time. And yeah, it's just the best. So Streets of Rage 2 is one of my top 3 video game soundtracks. Yuzo Koshiro. I have the original. I think I have it signed by him for the it's bare knuckle 2 is what it's called in
Yes.
Japan. I have
Schmidt.
it in the with the obi and all the stuff. So it's like worth like $10 million or whatever. And then and actually I Final Fantasy 4, now that I think about it. Final Fantasy 4 now was used to be 2. I do have that soundtrack too. It's signed by Uematsu, which is pretty cool. But
Jealous.
one of my top tracks every month on Spotify specifically. I don't really check the other ones because Spotify is like the biggest one, as you probably know.
Mhm.
But as always, my Streets of Rage 2 goes straight the first track. That's like one of my biggest hits. I got permission from Sega to use the sound effects. Oh no, it wasn't Sega. It was all Yuzo Koshiro. He owns his own stuff. One of the most amazing things
Yeah.
on a video game soundtrack, for the title screen of this game to actually say Streets of Rage 2, copyright 1992 Sega, copyright 1992 music Yuzo Koshiro. Like he actually had his name on it, which
Mhm.
is amazing. So I did work it out with this person I knew in Japan who helped me get in contact with him and stuff. So having the sound effects in there and stuff is really fun too.
It
Love
was
that game.
amazing. Just the first level of that game. It was what I think a lot of people don't understand is that during the Super Nintendo Sega Genesis days, when we think of music and soundtracks, of course we got our cuts from Nintendo, but definitely with their games. But like Sega at a point in time was running it with like Streets of Rage 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like soundtrack is amazing. Um Sonic 3, like some of their other games, Rocket Knight Adventures by Konami. I think even Turtles, the not Manhattan Project, Hyperstone Heist. Like they Sega had some good, amazing songs. And then you got Treasure with just like goodness, what is that? Gunstar Heroes. Like
Mm-hmm.
d- yes, Sega had a different sound chip, but they literally had some banking tracks in some of their games. And I
They
think a lot
did.
of people do. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that they did. They were balling, man. They did. Corey, do you have a favorite Sega soundtrack that you could think of?
Hmm.
Genesis days.
I'm
It's Kid
a
Chameleon, right?
yeah. No, I'm a huge Hyperstone Heist fan, actually.
Yeah.
Um I am also a pretty big Sonic 3 soundtrack fan. I think it's the worst Genesis game, but I think it has the best soundtrack.
Yeah, that Ice Cap is one of the most popular video game pieces ever, man.
Yeah,
That's just for real.
yeah.
What about
I'm
you,
actually
Daniel? Are you a Genesis kid at all? I know we're on the Pow
Yeah,
Block, but
so my pick probably wouldn't be on probably anybody's list, but if anyone's heard the Shining Force soundtrack,
Shining Force.
Yes.
that's really solid soundtrack. I'm sure a lot of people would probably disagree, but I'm not
No, there's a lot
super,
of people
super
that love it.
musical. But there's some really solid tracks in there, particularly on some of like the middle battles. Have some really great soundtracks, like the Laser Eye soundtrack for those familiar.
Look,
Mhm.
Daniel, we've already agreed on this episode that we're allowed to disagree with each other. At the very top, we decided that. So,
In other
also,
words,
also, shout out to Rocket Knight Adventures, by the way.
Mm.
yes.
That soundtrack's
Man.
not very memorable, but I like that game, and I can just kind of hear the music in my head. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sky Chase Zone from Sonic 2 was like like Streets of Rage 2, like I said, just the intro, even like the battles and stuff. I was just like, who would ever thought to bring house music to video games? And now you see in a lot of indie games of today, and even DDR, Dance Revolution, like house music is really big in games.
Mhm.
And I kind of gotta give credit to Streets of Rage 2 for that.
Yeah, I don't really know if there was much before that. I know I love the stuff that's in Ridge Racer Type 4. I love that game on the original PlayStation. There's some good house music in there. Um,
Uh,
I know that
our
I am
friend
going
LeBron,
to. I was just going to
oh,
say, I'm going to make
yeah.
you real happy. The next album that I'm working on, we're trying to figure it out exactly how we're going to do it because I want to make a hip hop rap album, but it might take me a little more time to put together like the money and everything that needs to happen to bring in, because
Mhm.
with this the Mario mixtape, it was all me, baby, except I really needed to have a muted trumpet on my Delfino Plaza arrangement from Super Mario Sunshine. But this kid, he
Yeah.
goes by T Sori, and he's just like a mystery. He just like did it for me, and it was perfect. I don't know anything else about him. He was like a trumpet Batman that came in and out. Didn't I didn't even tell me like what the name is or anything. It's just like bam. And then my trusty friend Anthony Lofton, who did the saxophones on my Piranha Plant song, and then my very very sexy Dire Dire Docks. But on
Oh,
this hip
like I
hop
said, it's a
album,
body roll, everybody.
yeah, it's a great one. The I am going to do that SOR super mix, which I think you might be talking about with the intro on Streets of Rage 2, the real slow, and then it like has those sounds, and then it comes in with the piano, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to do a version of that. That's going to be a nice, heavy hitting hip hop track. It'll be fun.
if you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
You should get Contra the first stage from the NES version and just loop it and get some like heavy like drums for it. Man, that's a hip hop track all by itself.
I've never thought of it that way.
See, oh yes, no, is it the? I think it's the last level, number 7. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, yeah,
dun,
yeah.
dun, and then just kind of loop that and then add some drums. Yeah,
Right
that'd be a
on.
hot track. I have all the thing. Konami. I'm sorry, everybody. This is Nintendo Power Block.
I didn't think
But
I'd be
yeah,
walking away
I
from here with
we all
having
knew
to
this was
do
going to happen.
homework.
We
yeah.
Ed, we all knew this was going to happen when we had a music guest on that kind of specializes in retro games. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it. We accept your Your
We can get back on track.
Ah!
We can talk about the
Nope,
music from Wrecking
we're
Crew.
on track.
Oh
So,
goodness.
question: have you ever thought about doing anything like from like from modern games, like not necessarily like, I don't know, the big AAA stuff, but like one of the I guess it's pretty old now, but like Shovel Knight has a pretty killer soundtrack,
Yeah,
right? And so
I
I was
did.
wondering if you ever thought about doing anything.
I had a couple of friends that had like a stupid, not serious, goofy, just for fun, kind of like rap duo. And one of the guys
Mhm.
commissioned me to do the, gosh, what's it? I think it's the first stage of Shovel Knight. And then I told my friend who composed it, Jake Kaufman, and I was like, they want me to do this. So you have any question on like what I should do for it? And he's like, no, man, do you want like the original files for it? And I'm like, nah, don't worry, I'll just do this. So like, I know him uh, something I keep, it's like on the precipice of my mind. Strike the Earth, is that what it's called? The
Yeah,
first level?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I did a version of that. But those guys never followed through, so I have that just sitting there. I guess I could, you know what? I can laterally shift that to the hip hop album. I just need to juice it up. So that's a good. See, I told you,
Yes.
y'all gonna give me homework. I gotta get my post-its
That's what we
out.
do.
And
You know.
Yes.
uh, let's see, what else have I done? I did Celeste a couple of times with the band, the OneUps, and we played at PAX West in like
Nice.
2018 or 19 or something.
Wow.
2019. And I actually reached out to Elena, the composer. I was like, hey, do you want to come up on stage and play your own music? She was like, all right. And so it was cool.
Mm.
I have a interesting. I was talking to this friend last night. Sometimes I have this persona that people don't really know whether or not I'm being serious or telling the truth, because sometimes I'm just being funny to get a laugh. But I was on stage and I think I said, hey, do y'all like indie games? And everybody in the crowd, yelled. And I said, what's your favorite indie game? And I just, it was unintelligible garbage. And I said, mine is Temple of Doom. Do you like Celeste? And then they're like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to hear some music from Celeste? And like, yeah. It's like, okay. Well, please welcome the composer for Celeste, Lena Rain. And she came out, and everybody was like, holy shit. Like, they couldn't, but like they weren't expecting, like I like to keep that people guessing on what's going to happen. I just did that at VGM Con in Minneapolis this past weekend. Not this weekend, but the past weekend.
Ooh.
It's really, 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 really fun. It's Video Game Music Convention, and it's nothing but that. It's like a tiny version of like MagFest or even PAX, but it's just
Mhm.
focused on video game music. So it's just a bunch of video game bands. The merch room is smaller than your school cafeteria. Like, it's really just focused on the stages and the bands and the music. And I saw everything from a flute player playing by herself with a backing beatbox track, guitar, flute, violin people, a full rock band, a full big band, one guy just DJing on top of a Red Bull, the thing where they put the Red Bull in the drinks and keep them cold. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got his laptop set up on there. He's just throwing a huge show. And in the middle of his show, two girls dressed like Saria came up, one with the flute and one with the ocarina, and started playing freaking Zelda things. And I mean, it's just nuts. It's just music everywhere. It's a lot of fun. And I talked about on my podcast, I did a panel. I talked about the failure. Like, you're going to, I taught people how to do these albums, because I've been doing it for so long. But look, always watch, because failure will happen. And I talked about this poster that I had made for this album. I thought it was going to be the bee's knees, and I still have 700 of those CDs from 12 years ago in my kid's bedroom. Just like, I need to do, I don't know, just for some reason that one album didn't do well, but I am okay because the poster's on my wall and I see it all the time, and it always makes me smile because I did what I wanted to do. And if nothing else, the universe gave me this poster that made me happy. But I said the big thing is
It's
that all of you are the winners today, because everybody reach under your table, under your chair. You're getting a copy of the album that you cannot listen to as well. And they all just kind of laughed a little bit until one kid in the front, it's like 19, he reached down and grabbed him, and he's like, oh, dip, it's real. And everybody just like lost their mind because it's like, holy crap, this is Oprah. Because I showed up 1 minute late. The panel room is full. People are standing up. And from the mindset of like, there was another panel that they were waiting to exit so that they could come in. Like, when did this happen? I just love that idea, like that magic of being like, what the real truth was like 7 hours earlier in the morning, I was in there listening to some funk album and turning chairs over and taping CDs to the bottom of 80 chairs because I'm crazy.
Wow.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
That's good. Well, when it comes to failure and everything, you never know how long that thing will so-called be a failure, because as time goes on, someone's going to find it and it's going to get popular. People going to start talking about it, and just in time, it becomes its own success. It's happened to a lot of video games and a lot of music soundtracks and bands and stuff. Like, you don't know their work at that time, but someone's gonna find it, and then it's gonna get popular, and people gonna start
Yeah.
talking about it. You know,
Seal wrote Kiss from a
When I
Rose
was
like 5 years
like
before that came out.
13 or so.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I was
what
just
were you
saying
saying,
that
Daniel?
Seal wrote the song Kiss from a Rose like 5 years before it actually like popped off. And then it became a #1 track for many, many weeks on the Billboard. So yeah, you never know, like you said. But go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry.
No. So when I was about 13, I got my first video camera and I made a Ghostbusters like fan film, I guess. And like this is giving me some hope that somebody's going to find that and it's going to get big, cuz some of those motion effects that I came up with and created were pretty baller, honestly. So,
Is it on
if you
YouTube
know,
somewhere?
I will not confirm or deny that.
Oh
Ooh.
boy, the search is on.
I did have my latex gloves and tinfoil hat really sold the whole performance. So
Mm.
if you are lucky enough to find it, it's pretty gold.
I'm on YouTube right now.
Oh wow.
One
Well,
link you'll find it.
well, Mustin, I truly am grateful and thankful that you got to join us for this episode and talk about music. Um, and I'm excited for you and your future endeavors. And I cannot wait to hear your hip hop album when you're released. Before we get into that, everybody, of course, I gotta just catch up with everybody on their weekend. Daniel, how was your weekend?
Good. So, um, I didn't get a chance to play a lot of games this week. So I played something this morning that I'll talk about later, and got caught up on some other things. So it's been good.
All right.
Nice.
Corey, how was your weekend?
It was all right. I spent a lot of time so I've you know how I get at about once every 6 months I decide, you know
Mm-hmm.
how I'm like, I have a look that we're going for, but I know it can look better. So I've been doing the whole, hey, we're doing the thing again. We're churning out new thumbnails. I'm making new thumbnails for current episodes, past episodes, all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm finally where I want to be with these things. Also kind of coming up with logos for the new shows has been kind of let's say interesting and not at all stressful, we'll say. Not one bit stressful. I also finished Resident Evil 4 remake for book club recording tomorrow. So that was fun.
I
Also, my
need to
nephew turned
just have
10
this one.
this weekend. So
Awesome.
10. What an age.
yeah.
Double digits, baby.
Yeah. He got a curved gaming monitor and a keyboard that lights up.
Ooh.
So
Heck yeah.
he's all into that, and a headset, like a real one, and not the cheap one that I gave him like a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you
Hey,
got to
you gotta
prove your
start
worth.
somewhere.
Yeah, I know. So but yeah, that was my weekend. It was good.
Mustin, how was your weekend?
Bro, we've been chilling. I got to hang out with a friend. I was gonna take my kid and her friend to go get some tulips, and the tulip farm closed early yesterday because they had a good year, and so I had to figure out what to do. So I took them to David Buster's and I made them play the Walking Dead video game, and I sat behind it. And at the perfect times, I would reach in and grab them on the side, and then scream, and then bang on the. So I made it the 3D experience or whatever. So that was fun. And then I took a nap. It was a nice weekend, man. Sunday nap.
Naps are good.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I fell asleep when I put my son down today for like 10 minutes. It was nice.
Uh,
Recharge.
you had a
Wow.
good. You also had a good nap Saturday night.
Me? Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm proud of you.
I fell asleep. We were supposed to record something, which now we have to record after this because I fell asleep. It's fine.
It's
It's all
right.
good.
It's what humans do, and poop
Yes.
and eat.
We're all really good at those, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I went to one of my associates' engagement party. Really fun, really good food. Corey, I think I tasted the best buffalo chicken dip ever. I don't know
Okay.
who made it, but I got like a big glob of it. Chips was on point. I ate that, went back and got some more chips, ate it some more, mixed it in with some of my other food, and I was just like, I know I'm not supposed to eat really spicy food, but this is not making me cry nor making my nose runny, and I just want more of it.
Oh, you'll be fine. You're
So
fine. Eat all the spice.
I ate. I had fun. I didn't get no ice cream or cake or anything because earlier that day I had to be up at 4 a.m. to go to work and stuff. And I got home and I did my best to stay up because of we were supposed to record, but it didn't happen. So I laid
Oh, we both
down
fell
and
asleep. I see.
no, I didn't go to sleep until 1 o'clock. Because of a certain game that I was playing, but I literally, if I didn't have the engagement party and I wasn't recording or planning to record, I would have fell into darkness, good and well.
What was it about
So,
that dip specifically that made it so good?
what made it so good was the chicken. Not only was the chicken very tender because they shredded the chicken and everything, but it wasn't too spicy.
Ah,
Like I could taste the hot sauce in it, but
mhm.
it didn't last long, and so it was just like what other kind of ingredients they put in. It balanced out the spice and everything, and
Gotcha.
so I just I
Wasn't overwhelming.
no. Right. And because the funny thing is, they had it in a crock pot and a slow cooker. So it was
Mhm.
nice and hot and everything. At first, I thought it was some mac and cheese. Like, ooh, someone made some bomb mac and cheese. And I tasted and I didn't realize it was buffalo chicken dip. So
So wait,
I just started.
did you just take a fork and just shovel it in like mac and cheese before you realized it was dip?
There was a big spoon on it. So I just gloop,
Mm.
gloop, gloop. And so I was just like, okay. And then but I didn't see the chips right next to it. So I
Mm.
didn't know. And so I got some chips, I put it on there, and then that's when I found out it was buffalo chicken dip. And so I started moving, put it in with the chip. And
Wow.
I took one bite, it was just like, whoo, more chip and dip, more chip and dip. Like I was engulfed with the flavor.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was just like, this is the best buffalo chicken dip I ever had. And I was just like, I hope Corey is proud of me because I ate some spicy stuff. Um until I get to Ohio and we have Mexican.
To be
And that
fair,
tastes real sweet.
I've had to really put a hold on the whole spicy food thing because it just like it tears you up, man. Then I just like don't feel good, and then I don't sleep good, and then next thing
Team
you know,
Rockets.
you're trying to look for toilet paper because you use it all in like 3 days, and it's just a mess,
Mhm. A real mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Ed, you said
yes,
it looked like macaroni and cheese.
yes.
Interesting. Between that and you describing as it being glooped onto your plate, I don't know.
So
I don't know about this, but
so when I was looking at it, it looked like it was baked mac and cheese. So,
okay.
Did it
when
have
I
the layer
dipped
of
this,
melted cheese on top? Is that why?
it kind of did. Well,
Okay.
not.
Mm.
I mean, it did because it had some burnt spots too into it. So normally when you do baked mac and cheese, when you dip it in, you would hear that crust go through because of the top part of the cheese and everything.
Mm.
But I didn't hear it and didn't realize that when I got it and glued up that it had shredded chicken in it. Yeah, because they didn't. Nothing was telling us that it was dip or anything. They just had the food all
Okay.
on the table. So because they had like Portillo's hot dogs, and then they had like Popeye's chicken and everything, and I was just like, you
Love
know what?
that chicken Popeye.
Is- yes. Uh, and so I was just when I got it and I got the chips and I just dipped it in. I was just like, ooh, because I was gonna eat it with a fork because I'm thinking it's mac and cheese. No, it was some good buffalo chicken dip. So, and yeah, right. I know that's supposed to be for snack tender, but it was bomb biggity. It literally was bomb biggity. I'm like, ooh, this is some anointed right here.
Part of me is really imagining you just sitting there with a big bowl of buffalo chicken dip and just shoveling it in with a giant fork that
Spoon,
you can
yeah.
barely fit in your mouth.
A wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Just give me some water, even though I did have 2 things of Sprite to make it pop. uh, but yeah, everybody, that was our weekend. Now it's time for Snack Tendo. And Corey, I'm gonna start with you. What you
Oh
been
boy.
snacking on?
Well, like I said earlier, we went to a 10-year-old's birthday party this weekend, so a lot of pizza and wings and JoJo's, so it's a good time. A lot of pizza, man. A lot of pizza. I was really proud of my
What's a
son though.
JoJo?
It's like a potato wedge type thing.
Is that an
But
Ohio
they're like,
thing? JoJo?
yeah, I think it's an Ohio thing. So,
JoJo's.
yeah.
Huh.
And so I was really proud of my son though. He's only 2 and he had 3.5 pieces of pizza. So
Damn, dude.
good for
He's
him.
packing it away.
Yeah.
Dude, hungry.
I know. It's so funny when he eats though, because he either won't eat at all or he'll eat like 25 pounds of food. And I'm just like, how are you eating all that right now?
Kids are so
Um,
weird like that, man. But at
I
least
know.
they know.
Yeah.
Like I never try to make a kid eat because a kid knows like they're hungry. You know, I've seen people. You
Yeah.
need to eat. Like the kid's not hungry, dude.
Yeah. It was funny. It was a good time though. It's funny because he's like super obsessed with Toy Story right now, and like
Heck yeah,
he
dude.
was just sitting there with he just was watching Toy Story while everybody else was enjoying the party, eating his pizza. And when he would like, we gave him one piece because we weren't sure if he was going to eat or not, and he ate it. And he hands me the crust. He's like, I want more. Give me more pizza. So I gave him one of my other pieces, and I went and got myself some more. And then when he was done, he's like, more. Where's my pizza? I'm like, oh my god, dude, just
It's total love, dude.
relax. Yeah,
Kid knows what he wants.
yeah,
More buzz, more pizza. More buzz, more za.
yeah. Exactly. He knows. So
Nice.
that's
So
what
you said 3.5? 3.5 pieces?
Yeah.
Is that godly Bob Howdy?
Nice. But that was what I was snacking on. So
All right, Mustin, what have you been snacking on?
This morning I had a kolache and it was bomb. You know what a
What
kolache
is
is?
that?
Kolache is it's like a big version of a pig in a blanket. It's like a sausage that's got stuffed with cheese, and then they put that inside of a really nice soft bun. And the bread is like it's like a croissant, but it's like not crispy like a croissant. It's like
Mhm.
soft, but it doesn't have that croissantness. Anyway, you bite into that, and the sausage has the cheese inside, which kind of like explodes in your mouth a little bit with the warm cheesiness. And God, that sounds gross, but it is delicious. So I had a kolache this morning. Kolache.
Mm.
Sounds delicious. I'm a big fan of pigs in the blanket. So
Yeah.
Very good.
And Daniel, what have you been snacking on?
So nothing too crazy this week. One night we were out kind of late, so we got McDonald's. So I had a Big Mac for the first time in quite a while.
Uh,
It was like just like a shopping pile of burger, huh?
Yeah.
But not too
yes.
terrible. I got through it.
I can't even tell you the last time I ate McDonald's for real. You know, like
Mhm.
I can't tell you the last time.
It's not a bad thing.
No, that's good. You look well.
Yeah. Yes, because just because McDonald's is not my fast food place of choice means I'm well. I like that. I'm gonna tell my wife that the next time I want like Taco Bell or something. I'll be like, "It's not McDonald's. I'm well."
There you
Yeah,
go. I'm
you're
living
doing
well.
okay. The dysentery caused by the Taco Bell could be a problem, but it
True.
usually heals up after like a day or so.
It's fine. It'll- It's fine.
Fast
Got
food is
stomach
all.
of steel.
Yeah, dude. You got to have a stomach of steel. And I took the opportunity of driving 10 hours from Arkansas to Minneapolis when I went to VGM Con last 2 weekends ago to find Fazoli's on the way there and back because it's just the worst. And I love it. I don't know if you all
Oh my
know what
gosh,
Fazoli's
Fazoli's! I
is, but
haven't heard
it's
that in a
like,
while.
yeah, it's a fast food Italian, and it's just so terrible. And there's none here in the area, and so I stop and find it on the way. And my God, the first time I stopped, this it was the worst rest. Like it was so gross. And then the person that was helping me, like I could see in their eyes, they were asking me to kill them. They were just so dead inside, like just like, please get me out of this Fazoli's, even if it's in a coffin. And then I got plopped down this thing of food in air quotes. Like there was a thing of lasagna, and it had like a let's call it a dollop of red sauce on top. it, didn't, it didn't even cover
A
the
dollop.
lasagna, which it should be baked in the sauce, and all the edges were like crispy, like car doors. It was just, oh, it was so wonderful. I loved it. It was, I don't know why. It's when people talk about guilty pleasures, I don't really believe in those things, or like listening to music ironically or whatever. I think on
Mhm.
some level you do like it. But when it comes to Fazoli's, man, there's something wrong with me, and like it's punishment that I enjoy. But I mean, the breadsticks are still bomb. Always have been. Hopefully, they always will be. They always put Olive Garden to shame, even when Olive Garden was good. So I don't know, man. I enjoyed doing that. So that was me. That's the snack from the past, right there, baby. A snack to the past.
It's
Nice.
funny that you mentioned McDonald's, Daniel, because I had some Friday before I went to work. Uh, I ordered a number 6 trying to get a fish fillet, and they gave me a quarter pounder with cheese. I'm like, this is a number 2. Why do? Then I started to have to question my livelihood because I'm like, how come I know this menu by heart? This is like, oh goodness, this is going to be a problem. Um, but I'm only going to really just talk about one thing. So Corey, you might want to take your headset off because it does deal with peanut butter, and I know how you feel about it. At work yesterday, uh, I seen some candy on the counter, at my job, and I was just like, "What is this?" Reese's now have a creamy peanut butter. That the texture is straight cream. It's like creamy peanut butter, not the regular one. And then they had Reese's Crunch, which is the regular Reese's cream regular peanut butter, but with peanuts in it. So if you have taste like Mr. Goodbar from Hershey's, because Hershey's make Reese's, they kind of share the same like nuts and stuff. Um So I tried the creamy one. The Reese's creamy. It's not bad. It's it's the because
Sounds
of
terrible.
the texture being smoother, it's easier to digest than the regular one. So I seen it and I'm like, when did they make this? And it just came out. So like Reese's haven't, I don't think they did a commercial for it just yet. But I haven't tried the crunch one neither. I've just seen it, but I only tried the creamy one. I kind of like that one over the regular Reese's peanut butters. And knowing Reese's, they'll probably come out with like white chocolate version of it, or um they may mix in the pretzels and potato chips and all of that other stuff. Um, and also they own cereal. They did, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was quite good. So people who think that the regular Reese's is like kind of and they like creamy peanut butter, the Reese's creamy is like really good.
Ed, is it like a
It,
texture thing?
Yeah, it's a texture thing. Yeah.
Okay.
sh-
Mm.
they
Peanut butter.
shared
Also
the
think
same nuts is my favorite album now. That's the album title. They shared the same nuts. That's great.
Well,
Sounds like an After
oh,
Dark topic.
There it
oh
is.
my goodness.
That's my sister all about that.
So,
Oh,
but yeah.
oh no.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh, good
Well,
times.
everybody.
Maybe.
Well, everybody, it's time for playing with power. Mustin, what have you been playing with power?
I don't get to play a lot of stuff,
Oh,
but I did sit down and do a little Mario Kart 8 with my kid and reminded me how terrible Mario Kart 8 is, and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. So I got to experience that. Um, Mario Kart, the only one that's good is Super Mario Kart. And you can't sit there and tell me that this blue shell thing is a good idea. You know, it was cute in the movie for half a second, but it's just terrible. Like I don't know. It's just there's no. It is an excellent representation of life because life is chaos. There is no such thing as fair. You have to learn to roll with the punches. But when you're trying to
mm-hmm.
accomplish something, you don't. In a video game, you have some sort of strategy, and there really just isn't one because if you, I mean, I didn't even start my. She started going. I just left the controller there and went and got a soda pop and then came back. I almost got lapped and then I just held down the B button and I came in second place or third place. Like it's just like because I just kept getting the helper things. If you're in the back, you get the helper things. If you're in the front, you get the bananas and coins. It just what is this? It's some I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. It drives me nuts. But I do know that whenever they did
Yeah,
Balancing
it's
the
the defense.
difficulty.
Yeah.
whenever they did the Game Boy on the Switch, I fired that up and I played Link's Awakening, of course, from start to finish because that's just the best. What can you do? I'm not going to play Breath of the Wild. I'll tell you that.
I love Mario Kart Double Dash though. Double Dash is my
No.
jam.
I'm gonna have a
one
hot
on-
take actually on Mario
Okay.
Kart. I think the only ones worth playing are the DS, the 3DS, and Mario Kart 8. I hate all the other Mario Karts.
You're wrong for that.
Double
I mean,
Dash
you were right
also,
about everything.
by the way. I know a lot of people like it because a lot of people grew up on the GameCube, but like, oh man, Double Dash is bad. Double Dash is not
amazing.
No,
It is
No.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm with Corey.
Mm.
It was rough.
Also,
It's all about the first game.
anybody who tries to tell me that Mario Kart Wii is good is lying to themselves.
Everybody, to give you heads up, in the coming weeks, Mario Kart Ranking Nintendo will be live for you guys to be watch. We
I'm not on it. I wasn't invited because of my hot takes on Mario Kart. So
we rank all the games besides the mobile game. And so you guys will be able to hear what we think of those. Special guest Josh Martinez is joining me for that discussion. and I cannot wait for you guys to listen to it and then hear where we place our ranking on those games. So
I think one of them might already be live on Patreon. Actually, I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I scheduled all these like a month ago, so I'm not sure. But yeah. Also, Ed, if Double Dash comes out on top, you're fired.
I'm not saying no names. No way. You have to give it a listen.
Now's a
I
good time
played
to
Double
put out that
Dash.
put out the signal that we're looking for new hosts for Nintendo Pow Block. So if you're interested, you
Wait.
can contact me.
What?
Kidding.
Yeah. Murph?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not kidding.
All right.
My DMs are open.
Oh, wow.
There's no one that can talk snacks as good as Ed. I'm pretty sure.
It's fair.
And give hot takes.
Yeah. Anyways.
But Daniel, what have you playing with Power?
So, not too much this week, but I did try a game called Soul. Oh, what was it? Let me pull it up quick. Soul Blaster or Soul Blazer.
Soul Blazer. Yeah.
Shoot 'em
Soul
up.
Blazer.
Vertical shoot 'em up.
Not at all. It's
The RPG.
yeah, in the same
Action
vein of like the Secrets of Mana.
Okay, I thought Soul Blazer. I thought that had a. I might be thinking of a different one. It used to be a shoot 'em up on the kind of with that same name.
Maybe that's Soul Blaster. But
Probably.
so it's in the same vein of like the Secrets of Mana. So basically, you are some sort of prince that a master, which seems eerily similar to like a god, puts you on Earth to revitalize all the creatures and beings that exist there. Everything has been cast into evil and darkness, and you have to go back in and like recreate this world. So like the part of the game I got to play was you travel into this like underground kingdom, and by defeating monsters you like free up these like spots that release the upper world back into existence. So like you like fight some bad guys, you get a blacksmith shop. You fight some more bad guys, you get a goat, and like you slowly rebuild the town. So it was actually pretty fun. I was surprised.
Huh.
Nice.
So almost sounds like ActRaiser a little bit.
It's in the same family.
Yeah, because I think the creators who did ActRaiser made Soul Blazer.
Yep.
By the way, side tangent. Anybody ever play the ActRaiser remake, whatever it's called?
I heard
Not
it
yet.
wasn't. It's like kind of average.
I was just curious if it's still held up or not. Didn't Sega make one too? Like something like Souls SOL something. I forget. Sega made an ActRaiser clone like 5 or 6 years ago. I gotta look it up now. It's gonna bother me. Razor, not Razor, idiot.
Soul Feast. That looks.
Hold on, I got it.
Daniel, are
Soul Seraph? That's what it's called.
Soul Seraph.
Okay. Yeah. I think that was the spiritual successor of ActRaiser.
It is, but Sega published it, so it was weird. Anyways,
how far did you get into the Soul Blazer, Daniel?
To about the first boss. So basically, while you're conquering the underworld, you slowly get items that allow you to unlock this magical paintbrush, which leads you to a ghost. And that's where I had to stop.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like very classically RPG quirk, where like you have magical paintbrushes and like dream wands and stuff.
Yikes.
No yikes about it. Pure excellence.
Just kidding. I'm sure it's great.
Well, Corey, what have you been playing with Power?
Well, speaking of Mario Kart and magical paintbrushes, I played a little bit of that Disney Speedstorm, which is Disney and Gameloft's kind of free to play Disney Mario Kart clone that it's there's 3 editions that are out now. There's a 30, a 50, and a $70 version of it out right now as like a founders edition, and they give you like a bunch of coins and extra characters and doodads and carts and whatever, and it's pretty interesting. It plays like I don't know if you guys played Sonic Racing Transformed on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3 or whatever. I think it was on the Wii and Wii U also, but
Yeah, it was.
it feels like that game. And it's interesting. The differentiator in this game though is that each character has their own um special power. So like Sully from Monsters Inc. can like scare people, and Mickey can jump, and there's all these like weird different. I haven't played that much. I haven't tested all the characters. And the only thing is that you actually have to unlock the characters as you go. You can't they're not just all unlocked. You have to like buy the characters as you go. Which works against its RPG type mechanics where you're like leveling up each racer to unlock, like make your special skills better and unlock new parts for your carts. So like they really want you to get invested in this game, and it's like I don't know. I want to play this game because season 1's special character is Figment. If you are a Disney World fan, so yeah, it's great. I think it's actually a really fun kart racer. I think the thing that's gonna be its downfall is the kind of it's kind of I don't know. I feel like the RPG mechanic. I feel like there's a lot going on for people who just want a kart racer,
Mm-hmm.
and but I've been playing that. I've also been the other thing I've been playing, I beat Resident Evil 4, the remake, and I think it's going to be safe to say that I probably won't be playing any more Resident Evil anytime soon because it was fine. Like it was fine. I see why people like it.
It
I didn't
wasn't that
care for
scary though.
it. There's some pretty big jump scares though.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like scary, but there are jump scares, So, and then obviously Destiny is the game I continue to play forever. So,
All right. Well, for me, I ended up returning back to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because there was some more stuff that I just found out that were in the game that I didn't come across. So, and plus the new DLC is dropping this week, so I'm excited for that. We'll wait for I'm going to buy the DLC for all 4 packs. Um, I was just waiting for everything to come out, and I'll just do one big purchase. Played a little bit of Have a Nice Death. Still working my way through that game, trying to get powerful and everything. I did pick up Advance Wars Reboot Camp 1+2. And this is a really fun game. I am definitely enjoying it. It's gonna take me a while to like kind of not say learn the mechanics, but be able to like get my strategy down pat and everything. But it really is a fun game. Wait for it did a fantastic job. The voice acting is really, really good. And the animations just look superb and stuff. I only did the first mission. So I'm going to get into the second mission a little bit on this week and play more. So definitely enjoy that. I think it's a good um 80, 85, and everything because I haven't played Advance Wars 2 yet. And like I said, I know of Advance Wars, but I never got to play it when it originally came out. So this is my first time playing it and everything. But I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm really happy with it. I know this Friday, Jedi Survivor comes out, so I'll be picking that up along with the Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch. I will be picking up this week, so I'm excited about that. But yeah,
Shout
Greg,
out
you
to
gonna
Way
say something?
Forward, by the way. Their episode, we had Adam Tierney, the game director and head of publishing, on the Boss Rush podcast, and that episode is out now for everybody. So if you want to learn more about Way Forward, you should check that episode out. It was a great episode. It was one of our best episodes ever of that show, hands down. So
Hey.
Right on.
Oh.
Way Forward, man.
Everybody,
Good people.
It is good people. A
everybody,
lot of
it's
my
time for
music
Femi
friends.
News. Oh,
That's okay. A little lag here. My internet is not doing well. I don't know what's going on. But I was just going to say, yeah, they are good people,
hey,
and
Mustin.
that I had a lot of my music friends were excited to announce that when that game came out, that they were on it. So a lot of friends that wrote music, performed live instruments, and all kinds of stuff, which is really exciting to see because some of those people get to say that they worked on a Nintendo game, and that's something a lot of people don't get to say. So I'm really happy for them, and I think Way Forward is doing some great stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
called them. Oh,
go
go ahead,
ahead.
Corey.
All right.
Oh,
Well, that I was just gonna say Adam Tierney was really great, and he gave a lot of insight on how I mean, I think we've been podcasting and know enough people to know kind of the very baseline of how game development works, but he really dove into, like, their Silent Hill game that they made, and the working with Nintendo and stuff, and it was really a lot of great things, a lot of great information, a lot of fun conversations. So
Yeah.
yeah, I consider like Ray for my Western Konami back from the '90s,
Word.
the '80s and '90s and stuff. Um, because
The
their
Contra
games
4
are
kicked butt.
the games. Yeah, and I Wait for it. Just talking about people talking about like being underrated or not getting the props that's due to them. Wayford has done a lot in the gaming sphere. Not only with just Shantae, but just like making the Aliens game from Sega. Um, the Mummy demake. Um, helping Bloodstain. Curse of the Moon. The Bloodstain game come out. Like Way Forward has their hands in a lot of stuff. I love the Batman game that they made. And I love their remake of Boy in the Blob. And it's just like I have been a fan of Way Forward since they ever came out, and I found out what they made, and I'm just like I love them, not just as a company, but as a game developer. And you know, I hopefully they just stay in business, um, as much as they can. And for people who don't know, Yacht Club came out of Way For It, who made Shovel Knight and everything.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah,
should we
go
get in
ahead,
the
Corey.
family should we get in the family news?
Yeah, here we go. Once again, everybody, it's time for Femi News.
Woo.
Corey, take it away.
Okay, so this week the Indie World Showcase was shown. Nintendo showed some new indie games and DLC for recent release games, and as part of its as part of its newest Indie World presentation. While not big for a 20-minute showcase, there were some highlights in the announcements. Telescar 2 and the remaster Shadow dropped. Blasphemous 2 was revealed. Cult of the Lamb is getting some DLC, and Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon also dropped new DLC. I know the internet was really mad that Silk Song wasn't shown off, but there's a lot to look forward to, it seems, on the indie side of things. So Shovel Knight DLC, all for it. All for it. So what do you guys think of that indie showcase?
I didn't get too hyped up about it, and it was very a low key kind of one, but I thought it was pretty good. But a lot of the games that they show and everything, and I always like the indie direct, or indie world presentations because they show different developers around the world, introducing their games and stuff. I think this one it just didn't hit me like, oh wow, they did this, or I need to get that. I think they just had some great games coming soon, um, but it just didn't wow me. And I think that Nintendo Direct in February really showcased on how when the Direct really makes you hype and you get into it, you feel the effects even months after it. And this one is just like, it was a good one, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually missed out on this, so I'm not super familiar with what all was shown. But I think a lot of the indies that I've been following are from like smaller time creators that wouldn't necessarily be at this thing. So I'm not sure I missed any announcements that I was looking for. But if there's more Shovel Knight, that's on my list. You've made it me put it on my list by talking about it. So
Mm-hmm. Shovel Knight.
more the merrier.
It's great. Mustin, did you check it out at all?
No, man. When it comes to gaming news, the only thing I'm waiting for is the absolute beautiful 60 frames per second remake, frame for frame, of Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Where is that? That's what I want. That's the only thing I want when it comes to video games. I want that GameCube game remade for today so I can play it and scare myself again and all the people I love.
They tried to reboot that. They tried to a Kickstarter for a spiritual successor to that, and it failed,
Mhm.
Yeah, I
which
know.
was pretty disappointing.
Not enough cool
So
kids like us.
I wonder,
It's a bummer.
I wonder if that'll ever come back. Yeah, yeah, it's a
Everything will
real
eventually
shame.
come back.
That game, especially now with like, yeah, I think especially today, like with all the remakes of like the Resident Evil remakes doing well and Dead Space remake, like it's prime time for Eternal Darkness to come back. Like that game would be a huge hit today.
So I
Yeah.
I I agree. Um,
Yeah. Here comes Ed's hot
the
take.
no, it's more of like thinking about it and looking at it, and I know this is more Nintendo. Um, the creators of Callisto Protocol, I think they would do a fantastic job taking the realms of doing Eternal Darkness because regardless of what you took away from Callisto Protocol, that game looks downright gorgeous and
It's one of the best
terrifying.
looking games I've ever seen.
And yes, I haven't got the Dead Space remake yet or anything. Even though that's connected to EA, um, I could see I could see Eternal Darkness being done in Unreal Engine 5, and the creator and the team of Callisto Protocol working on it, making that game. I I would be just pretty literally horrified to be like, not only did you guys probably taking something from American horror and Japanese horror, but you guys have put in your idea of what you think of horror is. And somehow, of course, Nintendo's gonna come in and check everything to make sure the stuff is connected right. For Nintendo to work with them to make a game like that, oh, it would be terrifying as ever, and I would be here for it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. I guess we could go move on to our next story here. Hey guys, shocker. More Nintendo movies are coming. Shigeru Miyamoto in a recent interview discussed having more ideas for Nintendo movies and that they are indeed coming. Quote, Nintendo is like a talent agency. We have plenty of other entertainers. There are many possible ways we could go, such as using characters that would be fit for movies or or very well-known characters. The Super Mario Brothers movie currently sits at $781 million at this as of this recording, and is expected to pass $1 billion dollars before it leaves theaters. So who's shocked that Nintendo is exploring more movies with the success of Super Mario Brothers?
I
Definitely not.
hmm, I think Nintendo didn't have no plans for it. For more movies. I think I think Super Mario Brothers movie really was a test run. Definitely with Illumination, um, working on it. You know,
Mhm.
because they had already brought their own movie production company, and stuff. But they'll probably be making like game clips and stuff like that with Nintendo. Um, I am kind of surprised though that they're going to be making. They plan on making more movies and everything. I
Why?
wouldn't think
They're making money. They've made $1 billion by telling somebody else to use their character. They're gonna keep doing
so.
it.
So the thing about it is, I think Nintendo is not known for like feature films and stuff. They're known for their shorts. And even with like Star Fox Adventure, not Star Fox Adventure, Star Fox Zero, um, when they had that animated intro and stuff and things. I think people look at Nintendo for that kind of stuff when it comes to like video and that nature. I just don't see Nintendo as the kind of company that wants to hop into movies. Um, uh, you know, I think if they do want to hop into it, which they are now, definitely it's going to be like we got to make sure that everything that we check it, from music to animation to story beats, uh, and just make sure that everything works together because they don't want the bomb like the real life version of Super Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie, um, with John Leguizamo and stuff. They don't want that. They want to be like,
Well,
if you're gonna do,
it's not 1993 anymore though.
I
It's
know,
it's
I know, but like, but you got, but Nintendo could have got hurt. Their reputation could hurt from that because they didn't have nobody on set to make sure all of that stuff was together like they did this Mario movie. And everything. Nintendo was just like, yeah, you guys could do it. We're about making games and stuff like that.
I
Focusing on that.
I don't know. I think Nintendo's entering the what do you say, the final phase, the final transformation into their Disney phase, and they've got the theme park now.
Hmm.
They've got, I
Mhm.
mean, the games obviously is their bread and butter. They're moving into movies. They're gonna probably do TV at some point. Like they're Disneyfying themselves, which I think is something that is going to be good for their business moving forward. I think,
I
especially,
think that.
especially like, obviously, I think a Donkey Kong movie is probably the next logical thing based on what I've heard from this
Mhm.
movie. Um, I think, we have a question about it later. I think a Luigi's Mansion, maybe like, I don't know if it would be a movie, but I think I could definitely see like a Netflix, like a 6 episode Netflix run of Luigi's Mansion, right? Or something to that effect. Like they're going to start expanding into these territories, and once they hit, it's going to be the Marvel thing where like they're just all going to hit. Like every 6 months, you're going to get something Nintendo related. So
I think they're expanding on their entertainment. Getting more into entertainment, and so I think they just now added films, because of the success of the Mario movie and stuff
yeah,
that
well
they're able to get to it.
that's what they want to do, right? They're not they're not a tech company, they're a toy company, and they're an entertainment
Mm.
company, which is exactly what Disney was before they expanded into theme parks and stuff, right? Like they were doing like the shorts, and then they made the movies, and then they expanded into theme parks. They kind of went the reverse direction. Obviously, video games were around in like the 30s and 40s, but you know what I mean? Like they're Disneyfying themselves. They are this generation's Disney, and that's what they want to be. They don't want to be Microsoft or Sony, right? Doing the big tech things. They want to be the company that everybody can relate to. Everybody loves their stuff, no matter how old you are. and I mean, we talk about it with their games all the time, right? They're easy to get into and hard to master, most of them, right? And
Hmm.
that's what they want to be. They want to be the company for everyone, and they are
Hmm.
succeeding hand over fist with the Switch, with their retro stuff, with the theme park is obviously a huge hit. People go to Universal just to go to the theme park, just like they did with the Harry Potter stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, Mario movie is going to break $1 billion, which is the highest grossing animated movie of all time already. So
And that's why I say expanding their entertainment.
yeah.
Them being more entertainment. I just didn't. I just think that the Mario movie felt more like a test run for them. And so, because of that test run, they were able to go for it. Because Nintendo is not going to just hop on stuff just like that. They're going to be like, if we're going to do it, of course, we're going to do it our way. But we're
Hmm.
going to make sure that when we do it and it comes out, that is all together. That
Hmm.
that is presented in a way that it will get some criticism, but it won't be harsh criticism, I should say.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's why these companies go with other companies besides Disney, right? That was the whole big reason why um, J.K. Rowling went with Warner Brothers and Universal for the theme parks and the movies, because Disney wanted full creative control, and these people who are really protective of their IP, like Nintendo,
Mhm.
want full creative control. And that's why you go to these other companies, because obviously, like, Universal is a very different company than Disney, right? They just want to they see money and numbers, and their quality varies, to bad to good sometimes, right? Like, I think Nintendo having their hand on all this stuff is going to make the quality of these things better than if they were just to let Universal do it on their own, right? I mean, because like you said, the '90s Mario movie is not great, and when they didn't have their hand on that, that's what happens. And I know, especially because the old guard is still at Nintendo, right? I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
them are still there, and they are very protective. Miyamoto is very protective of his IP, right? And um, yeah, I think Nintendo's quality in movies, with them at the helm and being very protective of their stuff, the quality is just going to be there. And yeah.
I think that, to your point about going somewhere else, that's the most important thing. Because you said the quality will be there when we're talking about Universal. The thing that's important is them not doing it their dadgum selves. That's the problem with Nintendo. Are they ever going to get their online right? Like, what question was asked earlier. They keep trying to do this junk themselves. Don't do that. If you want to make a good movie, go to the people who make good movies. These Minion peoples, they make bunch of movies, and they sit there and they've been working on it. Do you remember when we heard about that the first time? I was a fetus when I heard that they started working on the Mario movie. Like, it was so long ago. But then I think we had two
Yeah.
Sonic movies come out during the time that they were working on the Nintendo Mario movie. And seeing the success of both, one, that Sonic movie coming out, the trailer just bombing, and saying, oh, my bad, let's fix that. Going back and fixing it to make it look like the fans wanted it. And then two, seeing that be a huge success. And also Sega knowing that they did that correctly, because they're like, well, this is going to be big. And then they hinted for a second one at the end of the first one. And then have another one come out and do it extremely well. Nintendo's been sitting there with Illumination, like, lording over everything that they've been doing, and saying, okay, you know, like kind of you're saying, Ed, like just seeing, if it's going to work, test run. But it's not really about that. It's just them not knowing what the fudge they're doing, just like all those video game movies back in the day. All the movie executives saw was the dollar signs that were happening with the sales. And they're like, we're not making those dollars. We need to get these video game things involved and then put a giant lizard in it. And so that's what they did. And it tanked. And they're like, well, why didn't that work? Let's make another movie about white people. So that's what they went and did. So then you have Nintendo finally saying, okay, well, we can't do this ourselves. This is not our wheelhouse. Let's work with people who know what they're doing. I don't know how to make a theme park. Let's go to Universal. I don't know how to make a movie. Let's go to Illumination. I don't know how to make a TV show. For the love of God, go to Netflix. There's still not a streaming service that has as good of a user interface or a catalog or an approachability both for adults and children. Like HBO Max, great. Not a lot of kid stuff. Paramount Plus, great. Adults, you know what I'm saying? Like Netflix is there for adults and kids,
Mhm.
and they have the game ability and all that crap. When you do your limited run Zelda TV show, make sure you do the live action Zelda TV show on Netflix. Don't try to do something stupid and do, freaking make your own channel or do it with
Mhm.
Babazoon or whatever is coming out with Microsoft. Who cares? Like, I mean, Disney Plus would be okay too, but I hate Disney Plus's interface and all that crap. And they are making great shows, but it is Disney. And how much does the new MCU want to compete with the old MCU? Now we are in the Mario Cinematic Universe. I think you're right, Corey. We're going right to Donkey Kong, but then we're going to see all these other movies. Who knows what we're going to get Wrecking Crew, right? Ice Climbers. Is that what's up? I can't wait to see that. Scorsese, Ice Climbers. I'm here for it, man. But ultimately, we'll probably see, some stuff like a Zelda live action short, limited series, 10 episodes on Netflix. And, what cool thing are they going to completely
Yeah,
screw up with Metroid? Because they're going to do something, but
man.
I haven't had something
Mhm.
with Metroid that was fun in a long
Yeah,
Well,
that
time. So I just think that they're going to
oh,
be
go ahead,
reaching
Corey.
out, and as long as they do, like you said, Corey, and just really line up with people who know what the fudge they're doing. If you're going to do Metroid, please reach out to James Cameron or David Fincher or someone who knows horror and suspense. Don't give it to the guy who directed Big Bang Theory. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just be smart. And I think that they did that with Illumination. I think they took their time. I think they saw what happened with Sonic, and I think they said, oh, you know what? This is going to be okay. Because, like you said, Corey, they are very precious about their IP, and there's no better place to see that than in their music. I could talk for the next 4.5 hours about the frustration of trying to license Nintendo music, but I won't bore you.
Well, dude, that sounds fascinating, to be honest with you. we'll have to schedule something on that. But yeah, like I think my thing with Zelda is I don't think Link is in the show until the last episode. I think you centered it around Zelda and kind of like the war between, or the fight between Zelda's kingdom and maybe the Gerudo, or Ganondorf is like the Thief King or whatever, and you kind of like centered around his rise to power and the politics of it. I don't think you even introduce Link until the end. And maybe you don't introduce him until the second season. I don't know. I think you could do a really cool Zelda show around Zelda and the kingdom and the people in the kingdom, and especially with like the characters that they introduced in Breath of the Wild, like the champions and like the rulers of each region and stuff like that. Like, I don't want a Breath of the Wild like show. I think that would be really boring. But I think you could use those characters and use some elements from those cultures and stuff and make something really interesting.
I do like that idea of like getting that backstory. Even if you go back to like a Link to the Past, it'd be interesting to see how the sages and Engelheim and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
it does remind me of the ill-fated Cowboy Bebop, which I loved, and I loved the anime, so I loved them both. But then they didn't introduce Ed until the last episode, and then we never got to see what happened. It just reminded me of that. I would just hate for that to happen with Zelda. But they did a
Yeah,
good job with Castlevania, though, right?
yeah, I actually
Yeah.
really liked the Cowboy Bebop show too. Except I was like halfway through it, and then they canceled it, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to invest myself in the rest of this if they're just going to cancel it. But
It was very unfortunate.
yeah.
Almost feels like with Zelda, it might be better to start with like one of like the offshoot stories rather than trying
Hmm.
to squeeze like the main narrative, like your Link's Awakening or Majora's
Yeah.
Mask or something that's less connected into the weird mythos of Zelda where like you have your timelines break off. Like for a general audience, that's not going to be digestible without some build up. But maybe like a couple of like offshoot stories might make it easier
Like
to get
Link's
more.
crossbow training, or
Yeah, that would be great.
Link's
I-
Link's
I'd
Link's
Wow.
watch
goat
hours of that.
Link's goat wrestling in Twilight Princess.
I
Yeah,
think. See,
or like
this
Phantom
is
Hourglass, something
this is my
smaller.
problem with the Legend of Zelda being a TV show,
Oh boy, here
and
we go.
definitely of it being on Netflix. I
Well,
it's
excuse.
Bring it
For
back.
instance. So I think what's going to end up happening is that it's going to be too many flashbacks, and it always happens in a lot of the Netflix when they do a live adaptation of a video game thing. There's always flashbacks, and most of the flashbacks they try to run it in with the concurrent time that the show is in, and it gets kind of like bogged down. Like I would rather you just do all your flashback stuff as in the beginning and then progress it to when the current time hits, because I feel like that's what they're gonna do with the Legend of Zelda. Metroid, you don't really have to do much because you can literally do Metroid when she was a child, when she lost her parents, and when she met the trolls and stuff. And I would literally go for a animated version of it. Have the people who did Ninja Scroll do even though that might be a little bit too much for Nintendo, but like
Violent.
a Ninja Scroll looking anime for Metroid for Samus. Oh heck yeah! Like you have, I know a lot of people didn't like Metroid or the M, but it
Hmm.
had the right amount of action that would work in for a TV series, if or animated movie or animated short or whatever. They had like when she was fighting and stuff, they had good parts of that. So it could give you an idea of if Samus was a little bit mobile, then go ahead and do it. But if you wanted to really separate it off and everything, then have her really do some body hunting. Let us see who she could capture and everything. Besides trying to find powers like it was the Mega Man cartoon and stuff. Like I would rather you just like I want to see Samus actually hunt down some monsters and bring them in or stuff. Or, you know, see what it leads to. Do these monsters connect to her story and everything before it leads up to maybe the boss from Metroid Dread and
I
stuff.
could see
Like
that.
I like. Oh, go ahead. Listen.
I just say I could see that. I could see that, but my problem is I just don't think that I would ever watch something that would be super entertaining to me because I never
Mm-hmm.
really liked the idea of them showing who Samus was. I did always picture her as Laura Dern from Jurassic Park.
Mm.
Dr. Sadler. I think she would have been the perfect Samus at the time, but I mean, like you said, you just got to bring in bounties. It's not going to be super exciting because there wouldn't be. I mean, it's basically Predator, right? So you got this monster, but with Predator, you had Schwarzenegger and what's his name, Apollo Creed, and you have all these actors there, so they have like a pod where they can talk and have dialogue and move the story
Mm-hmm.
forward. But I really never liked the idea of her talking to whatever in her suit. And I don't know. For me, Super Metroid is just a perfect game, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. But I know they're going to do something with Metroid. I just hope that it's something that
So I was just thinking
good.
of voice, and you mentioned Cowboy Bebop, and that person. I don't know who is the voice of Faye Valentine in the
Mm-hmm.
animated series. I could
Mm-hmm.
see her voice being for Samus.
Yeah.
Yeah. My fear with Metroid would be like they would try to like Iron Man it up,
Mm-hmm.
and like, make her talk to some sort of AI in her suit or something. And it's
Yeah.
like I would rather it be kind of like almost like a atmospheric thriller type thing, because
Yeah.
that's what Metroid is. But I don't,
It's
I don't
just
know.
hard
I
because
think
she's by herself.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I think of
it's
Annihilation. Annihilation is cool. It's female driven. They go into this weird bubble, but they're still together talking. It's hard to move the story forward when there's just one person, unless it's just
yeah,
all voiceover.
yeah, it's
But
true.
I could do it.
I
I could tell
will.
the story.
I would love to see
Samus walks
like
in some
Duck Hunt
places.
shorts.
Scary. Duck
Duck
Hunt.
Hunt
Yeah,
short.
Duck Hunt, dude.
Yeah, do it
Oh,
just like Cuphead, like the Cuphead show. Like, why not?
oh my gosh, man. The Cuphead show wasn't
It's coming.
bad, really. It wasn't.
I I need to see the second season.
I mean, it wasn't like amazing, but it wasn't bad.
I mean, it's funny, and that I think with the Duck Hunt, I think the way that they portrayed Duck Hunt and the Duck Hunt dog, and even just the Smash Shredders, it's like they're a comedy duo in a sense.
It's true.
So why not make them a comedy duo and stuff? Hey, Nintendo, bring Captain N back or make a sequel to the Wizard. I'm down for
Oh
that.
no, Captain N.
Go to the wizard.
The Wizards. Maybe that's
Ooh,
how they introduced their
wizards.
new Mario game.
Yeah.
California.
I do that every time I hear the word California.
California.
That's funny.
Oh no.
God, that's a great movie.
It's so good.
Man. On that note, we're gonna
bad.
we're gonna speed through these last two news stories. If you guys have anything to say, just I don't know, say it, I guess. Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass is adding 4 Genesis games. In a weird day, Nintendo announced it on their through their Twitter that the Sega Genesis portion of expansion pass would receive 4 new titles. They are Flicky, Kid Chameleon, Pulse Man, and Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. Pulse Man is an interesting game since it was developed by Game Freak, who now develops Pokemon. So that's cool. I played a lot of Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition on my Genesis back in the day.
Yeah, I played a lot of Kid
So
Chameleon.
I did the Super Street Fighter on Sega Genesis when it came out. And it's very weird because now this makes like the 3rd iteration of Street Fighter on Nintendo's on Switch, because you could get like the arcade collection.
I mean, you can get that entire Street Fighter Anniversary Collection thing too. So
yeah,
I don't know what games are in that, but you know,
it was just weird that they would put the Genesis Street Fighter on there. I always wanted to play Kid Chameleon, but never did. So I'm interested in playing that.
It's a wacky game.
It's
Very
wacky.
strange.
It's strange, and it's like it's hard to keep your attention. I think it's like not the best game, but it's like fun to
It's
mess around.
kind of boring. It's like sit and mess around with it for like a half hour and then be done with it forever.
Yes,
A
perfect.
very 90s game.
Sounds
I'm
like
ready
fun
for
to me.
Eternal. I'm ready for Eternal Championship to come. To get Jesus. I played too much Sega back in the day.
Oh boy. And then the last story, Keiji Inafune is producing Level 5's new Fantasy Life game on Switch. Japanese publication revealed that Keiji Inafune is the producer of Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. The father of Mega Man and the questionable Mighty Number 9 is working on the game that was first revealed in February for the first Nintendo Direct of the year. Although we don't know much about the game, it makes the titles even more interesting to see what he will bring to the table. Keiji Inafune has kind of been silent since Mighty Number 9, I feel like, or Recore, I guess, technically, but good to see he's
and
still
just let
kicking
everybody,
around.
just to let everybody know, it's Famitsu who revealed it. I forgot to put that in the story. But yeah, this threw me for a loop because I'm like, Keiji Inafune working with Level 5? Wait, what?
Yeah, well, it's guy's got to work,
Yeah, he does. I mean, and he, of course, he got like Mighty Gunvolt and stuff like that.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, that I seen the story of just like, how in the heck did I miss this and everything? So
Yeah.
I think this is cool.
All right. Well, we're gonna move quickly through Pack Watch. I'm not gonna read all these descriptions because we are running a little bit long. The games that are coming out this week on April 25th is Trinity Trigger, which looks kind of cool. After Image looks interesting. Aliens Fireteam Elite is coming through the cloud. So if you haven't played that through Xbox or PlayStation or PC by now, and you're itching to shoot some aliens, better be connected to the internet, I guess. P-Cross 9 is also coming out this week, so those are the games coming out. Game Fact Advance this week with news of Keiji Inafune working on Fantasy Life I. It's good to take a look at where he came from. Capcom, a company many we may know, was established in 1979. Publishers of Mega Man, Rescue Ranger, Street Fighter, Ghouls and Ghosts, and The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. You also forgot Minish Cap.
Darkwing Duck.
They also
Oh yes, I know.
they also published Breath. Yeah, come on, all these great games. They also published Breath of Fire for Squaresoft on the Super Nintendo. Capcom actually stands for Capsule Computers because of the arcade machines they made. That's I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that neither.
Capsule Computers. Interesting. All right, guys, we're moving on to question block. We have 3 questions. Remember, if you have a question, you can tweet at Pow Block Podcast, or you.
Oh, what happened?
I thought somebody was trying to say something. Sorry. Remember, if you have a question, you can tweet at us at Pow Block Podcast or join the Discord, the Boss Rush Network community Discord. You can join that and leave it in the Pow Block question thread. Our first question comes from our friend of show, Delvin Cox, from the Delvin Cox Experience. Go check out that podcast and his content over there. With Tears of the Kingdom coming out soon, does Nintendo really need to release any more big exclusives this year?
Yes.
Do they need to? Probably not.
Yeah.
Should they? Probably, because Zelda isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
I don't like the idea of just hanging your hat on one game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they need to. That's their business and everything. Yeah, just because Tears of the Kingdom is coming out and it's a big game, Nintendo knows that their first party games will sell more of their consoles. And definitely with people awaiting Metroid Prime 4, they're treating that as their big new release game and everything. Nintendo wants to have because Nintendo wants to have a very strong library for the Switch. If nothing else from indies or third party, they want to make sure that their first party is just hit after hit, banger after banger, and they're going to continue to deliver that. They for some people, Tears of the Kingdom is their most anticipated game. For some people, it may be Pikmin 4. It may be Astral Chain 2. It may be something that Nintendo hasn't even announced yet. But like they want to continue to release they want to continue to release games, and we are the people as us as gamers depend on if that game is going to be a big release for them or not. For Nintendo, they're just like, no, this is our normal business, and we've got to make sure that we could continue to make sales and sell our product and sell our systems. And by that, that's putting out big hardware. I mean, not hardware, great software.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
it's one
think
of
yes,
those
they
like,
need to.
what have you done for me lately things. That's like Tears of the Kingdom comes out in May. And with that, it's like you're gonna go 7 months without some big thing to get people excited about. That'd be torture for your company at this point.
Yeah, look at the Wii
Particularly
U.
Yes.
for gaming. Yeah.
Oh, and plus, if Microsoft and Sony are not releasing hit titles after hit title, Nintendo's going to take advantage of that. If gamers want something big from a first party publisher or developer, is going to have that content. So why not take advantage of Microsoft and Sony is not going to do it.
Yeah.
Gotta have something for that direct, like summer or winter direct, to get people to like lose their minds and pour Gatorade on themselves and go crazy.
Who's pouring Gatorade on themselves? It's sticky.
They're getting excited. They're nerding out. They're dumping
Woo!
blue flavor all over It's just you got to get excited about something.
Put me
You
in,
come out
coach.
with
I want to
Direct
play
and say
Pikmin
you're
4.
remastering another Fire Emblem game. Yeah,
Yeah, I know someone who lose their mind over that.
gotta get something out there.
Ugh,
Yeah,
Pikmin 4 though, man. Intriguing, we'll say.
Kirby Air Ride remaster.
No, we do
Something to get
not.
the people psyched
We
out.
don't need another Kirby game. No. Pass. Hard pass. No
What
more
about a Kirby
Kirby.
movie?
Save it for when
18
the new
and up.
console's out and your kids are taking over your Switch.
The
Probably
Kirby
coming.
movie, rated R.
Oh boy. There's going to be a lot of sucking and blowing in that movie.
Oh wow!
It's going to be a lot of
Talk about
fucking
after
and
dark
blowing.
topics.
I know.
Exactly.
Good God.
I'm loving it. I
look,
want to.
man, I'm
you know
stating
what?
the facts.
Hey,
That's
Nintendo.
literally what he does.
That is what he does. Nintendo, you can just go ahead and make a Mario Kart 9. Are we going to see that? Or are you just going to do DLC forever? Also, where the fudge is Nintendo Land? We put hundreds of hours into that
They're
Wii
doing
U
Mario
game,
Kart 9 for
and
the
you
next
can't-
console. They're doing it for the
next console. What is it? The Switch 2? Switch 2 Boogaloo? I don't. What the hell, man?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it could be more powerful.
Switch Deluxe. That's the code name.
Switch Deluxe. Well, what's the LED one? The OLED. That's
would be
the
nice.
bigger Switch. Switch Boy Plus.
Oh, Switch
OLED.
Deluxe.
I don't know, man.
I just use that as the code name.
You got
I just
it.
use that as the code
Hey,
name.
look, I got
But
your.
yeah, Mario Kart 9.
I got your
They're
next.
gonna wait because they know if they could sell
DLC forever. Look, here's your new Mario Kart.
DLC
Here's your new
forever.
Mario movie.
To be fair, you can't get any more perfect than Mario Kart 8.
Oh wow.
The first one.
We don't have Kirby in Mario Kart 8 yet, so
He's coming. Look, there's 5
Yeah, where's
slots for
Diddy?
characters, and Kirby's going to be one of them. I think Kirby's going to be one of them. Diddy Kong's going to be one
They
of
got to
them.
bring back Diddy Kong.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
these
Diddy.
characters are coming.
Yeah, dude.
Cranky Kong. Yeah.
I also
Oh
want
man,
Mr. Right from SimCity.
how big of a heart stab would that be for like people who want Diddy Kong Racing to come back? Oh man.
Marth. We can get Marth.
No Fire
Oh
Emblem.
my God, Marth.
He can ride a horse. He doesn't even get a cart. He just gets a horse.
Oh man.
He can't ride other bikes. He only gets a horse.
And it's
I mean,
Epona.
Link got a
He gets
horse, or Link
Epona
got a
only, and
motorcycle
Link
that's shaped
can't
like a
use
horse.
Epona. True.
Oh no.
I would love that.
Unless he gets carrots.
All right. Our next question also comes from Twitter. Ice Malone 330. Shout out to Deshaun, who's listened for a long time. Will Nintendo ever take their online seriously? What do you want to see from the future of Nintendo's online, their expansion pack, and their retro offerings?
Basic functionality would probably be a good start, right?
Probably. You're correct. Mustin, you brought this up earlier. What do you want?
I think they need to buy a company that actually does IT correctly and be able to put their stuff in a as we talked about, they know their IP, they are protective of their IP, but we are heading toward a future which we've opened a genie and can't put it back in. They've been fighting emulation, they've been fighting music downloads, they've been fighting all this stuff. Stop fighting and just embrace it. I have tweeted them many times, like, hire me, give me 80,000 a year, and I will put all of your music ever up into Spotify and all that shit, and it will make them millions and millions of dollars over time. But they don't really care about that too much because it's too much of like, I don't know how that works for them. They just want to go back to making Mario jump over a block. So once they hire a company that can really handle all of their like online play and online storage, and because they don't know what that is, obviously, from how bad it's been since the Nintendo DS, I think. Was that the first online one? I mean, if you don't count the actual Nintendo little, I don't know. There's been a lot of things in a long time, but seriously, like what we're doing now, They should be able to
The
put everything
DSi,
up.
I think.
Yeah, the DSi. So like we should be able to have everything together. And then I think the subscription service is the way things are. You pay like, PlayStation Plus and that stuff. You pay $100 a year. You get to check out any of the carts that you want. Obviously, they're going to be Nintendo ones unless they do third party, which is frustrating because I've wanted to play Street Fighter 2 on my Switch for a long time, but I don't want to buy the game. If that makes sense. But I think that if and when they do that and get it all together, that's been my approach lately with my music. I have done all this stuff over 20 years with all these different outfits, whether it's bands, groups, compilations, all these things. And I have finally just condensed everything to like 5 albums, three of which are big compilations of 60, 70 tracks that I've released. Some of them are with people. And then my solo album I did in 2019, and then my solo album I did this year. So you can have it all in one place. I mean, one album is called Freebies for Streaming. All of these tracks, you can find them online for free. OC Remix, YouTube download, direct links, all this stuff. But I hate buying something or even finding something and then having to upload it into, I use YouTube Music, upload it into YouTube Music, get it tagged right, all that stuff, just so I can listen to it later. Why not just take all of that for everybody and put it up there so that everybody can find it at the source? Why should I have to go and emulate something like some old Nintendo game that I want to play if they would just package it, put it there? And for Pete's sake, please put in the actual old manual. We want to see the manual. Put the box art in there and the manual. That'd be so nice to preserve those things. And just have it all readily available, because that
Yeah.
would be such a boss move to say, here I am, here's everything I've done, here's what it looked like, and it's all available for you now give me your money. And you will give over that money to have that kind of access. But they need some kind of company that actually knows how to do data properly. And I don't know when that'll be, but it will happen eventually, of course, because everything's going to happen eventually with all this artificial intelligence.
Digital Eclipse does a really great job of preserving and updating. Like I don't know if you looked at the Atari 50 collection or the TMNT Cowabunga collection, but they did a really great job of like finding clean boxes and scanned manuals and everything, and they put them all in there, and you can look at all of them digitally, the concept art for these games, little
Yeah.
documentary type style things, and that would be amazing if Nintendo would just do that too. So it's just, man.
Right. And they're going to have the money.
Come
It's
on,
just
Nintendo.
not
Come
knowing.
on.
Yeah. It's just not knowing the direction. And it's kind of like a lot of problems that we have in society. We need more and more old people to die. And then some of those things will go away. Of course, not everything, because it's never going to be perfect. But as much as I love these people who are at Nintendo, the old hat, I think some of them have to pass with their old way of thinking, and then the new people come in and just say like, "Why am I buying a physical copy? Like, I don't want that." And that's coming from me, who sells CDs in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And people still buy them,
It's
which
the
is
only
great.
reason.
But the idea of something physical is nuts. So a younger person comes into Nintendo and it's like, this physical thing is too much money. Um, we can, like, Fangamer. Do you know Fangamer? Fangamer does these great boutique versions of physical releases for Switch.
Yeah.
So they'll have like Stardew Valley on Switch that comes with the box and a manual and a book and a cutout and a sticker and a stand-up wooden or a display. All this cool stuff. I love that. I don't think that'll ever go away. People love cool box sets of giant vinyls that have pop-ups of David Bowie's wiener and stuff like that. That stuff will always be around because it's cool. But
Hmm.
the idea of selling stuff in the store and all that's just like, it's old school, man. They got to get rid of that and move on. It's time to move on, man.
But it but it's working for Nintendo because of the digital landscape is not, it's not guaranteed if you're going to have that game or not. Definitely when some games need online to be on. Even like with stuff with like Game Pass, for example, Game Pass went down at one time, and no one couldn't play anything and
Well,
Hmm.
that's the
stuff. And
same thing
so
as
I
if your
think,
disc gets scratched, though. I mean, like,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
but
I mean, I
for,
I mean, I know what you're saying in terms of Nintendo stuff, right? Like,
mm,
Nintendo's the only company that I still buy physical games for because of, I mean, we just saw it happen to the Wii U and the 3DS, right? Where like their
Yeah.
eShops are down and you can no longer purchase or download, or even like those, do we even know if those games are attached to your account and you can't play them on your Switch? Like, it's ridiculous. I
It
think
is.
and
I think the company that does it the best right now is actually Microsoft, and like Microsoft doesn't have anything anybody cares about. I mean, it's just like,
what and the thing with Nintendo is with the physical stuff, just for people who want to resell it, they know that if I need a builder that need a $400 bill that needs to be paid, and I could sell this 1995 copy of Secret of Mana that some collector want, they're going to pay that money. People are going to be out there buying the Nintendo or the third party Nintendo stuff. They're not trying to do anything with that with Microsoft and Sony when it comes to physical. They're literally trying to do that with Nintendo. So that's why some collectors still want that physical because they know if they keep it in prime condition
uh
and there's a want for that game, people are going to scurry the internet. They're going to look through the internet to see who is selling that game that they could literally buy, and it's going to
Baseball
be 100
cards,
plus some dollars.
comic
yeah.
books. Yep. Yep. Yep.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of games that are like worth something from Nintendo, and as soon as those are available digitally, and I know I'm going to be able to keep them like on an account, I'm getting rid of them. I'm getting rid of them. Double Dash,
Yeah.
Mario Kart 64, anything from the Nintendo 64, GameCube era, especially, like they're gone. Like I'll keep the ones that mean something to me, but like as soon as they're
Exactly.
available digitally, like
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm gonna use that to buy a house or a TV or
Exactly.
put it away for in case something, God forbid, ever happens to like I'm gonna need that money someday. But like that's where we're at.
The
I would rather have it stored digitally and know that I can play it later on whatever device I end up owning in the future 10, 15, 20 years from now. And yeah, I think that's where the subscription is great, where like half these games that I
I
have are there, and I can play them.
I I need my physical because I'm like, if they continue with the design of the Switch and stuff, and my power goes out, I'm going to put in that good old cartridge and play that game if I don't have it saved on my system. I
but
should say.
going to what you're saying, like the space. Yeah, you need money to pay a bill or whatever, but just like the space for your kids, like
hmm
that's what investment is. There is one way of looking at Ed, like what you said, kind of. You do get this stuff. I lament selling. I sold my Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 3 Super Nintendo 6 pristine copies for hundreds of dollars in 2000 to get a clutch for my Honda Accord so that I could go and meet this person, which ended up he was the first person to ever license a piece of video game music in the United States as a fan, and spent $3,000 doing long distance phone calls on trying to make a tribute to Nobuo Uematsu, probably the first American to ever talk to him on the phone as a fan and all this stuff. So if I hadn't have sold those, I wouldn't be where I am right now. But I do miss them a lot. But there's nothing more than just the physical memory of it. I mean, if I had it right
Mm,
now, it's not like I could do anything. I couldn't like rub the cart on me and have some kind of magic power happen.
hmm
So I
Are
have
you sure?
I don't know.
Are you
Maybe, maybe,
sure?
maybe two different places. But I got rid of almost all of my physical stuff too, because as much as these pieces of software or music or digital video are important, um,
mm,
the thing that really becomes the investment is that we're running out of physical space. The
hmm
best investment you make is in like real estate and stuff like that. So I think that and when your kids get older and they need more places to put things, well, I've got this huge rack of all these games and stuff. And I mean, of course, you choose what's important to you, and I wouldn't begrudge anybody their collection. I would never want to take away something, especially because I admire it as well. But I just know for me personally, getting rid of more things makes it a lot easier. But the problem is what you all just talked about, when Nintendo turned their back and said, we're not supporting these anymore. That's the problem. That's where a data company needs to come in and say, no, we're going to support this forever, because if we're going to be a forever company, we have to be able to provide forever service. And that's where they severely screwed up, because people have these systems. They should be able to use them. I mean, that's as simple as that. Like, I don't understand why they can't just keep those servers running if it were, and have somebody own control of it. I
Normally,
mean,
Yeah. And
yeah,
and
normally it just comes down to money when it comes to that stuff.
but that's
also
not
like
Keep the service running, I should say.
it's just not a lot of money though.
yeah, it's also like one of my favorite games that I play right now is Destiny, and like having the physical disc of that game is incredibly useless because I mean Destiny
Just-
Destiny Destiny 2 came out in 2017, right? The content that's on
Mhm.
the disc is no longer even part of the game that you play right now. Like
Right.
it's literally just, and then you look at Call of Duty, the newest Call of Duty that came out, it was literally 685 megabytes on the disc, and you still had to download the whole game because it was just the license
Mm.
on the disc, or to the point where it's like this stuff at this point it's like the disc serves as a marketing tool for the casual person who walks into a Best Buy or Target and like doesn't play very many games and like, well, I'll pick up this game because it's on sale or it's here and it's in my face or whatever, right? Like
That's a good
the
point.
and I mean that's what Microsoft was trying to do too with Redfall. It was just going to be
Mhm.
the box with a ticket inside that had the game code on it. And then everybody
And
who and then every hold on. Everybody was like freaking out on the internet or like, I need my physical disc of Redfall because, I'm gonna want to play it in 20 years when, the servers are down or whatever. And it's like you realize that disc is gonna have less than a gigabyte of data and you're still gonna have to download the game, right? It's like
Yep.
which
mm-mm.
I think we could understand that if it's like really told in advance. Redfall is weird. I think it's Redfall is one of those. Even though this is probably like everybody, not Crossroads. I feel like the way that some people are treated for spoke is what they're treating Redfall, where there are certain gamers who want this game to fail on whole different levels and stuff. I think with Redfall, with the changing of this messaging and everything, I think if they did just say, "Hey, we're sticking to our guns," when they first announced it, and if they just said this is a digital only game, as long as you give us that heads up way in advance,
Mhm.
me personally, I would be cool with it. I think a lot of gamers would be cool with it. I mean, of course, people are looking forward to playing it on Game
Well,
Pass, but
the thing too
oh,
is
but
like the thing too though is like the unfortunate thing is that and I think PSVR actually proves it. PSVR 2 actually proves this the most is like people still these companies still rely on the box stores to sell their boxes. And if you
Mhm.
don't have games to sell on the box, why are they going to carry your box, right? And so um and that PSVR 2 supposedly isn't selling very well, but it's not available in stores. It's only available on PlayStation's direct service site. And it's just it's just one of those things where like if you don't have something to put in the box that you're selling, like why are we going to carry your box to sell? And
especially when your system is like almost the same price as your console.
yeah, so it's one of the sad truth is like not everybody is on board, especially in places like where I live. People are like some people don't even know that digital games exist. I'm like, what are you doing with your
Mm.
life? I mean, come on. It's
And and and
2023. Let's
And
go.
to to answer Deshaun's question, everybody have to remember that when it comes to online with Nintendo, Nintendo of Japan is making the decisions. Their online infrastructure is way different than the rest of the world.
Well,
So,
they need to stop playing with their trains and start getting with the rest of the world.
but
Chop
I,
chop.
I think I think now if they are going to take it seriously, it probably won't be into next year. And you got to also think about the CEOs and the investors. and everything. If they're not tech savvy, they don't care what Nintendo. I mean, they care what Nintendo do because they want them to give them the coins, give them that money. But if their CEOs are not tech savvy like other people are, they don't. They want to just make sure that the whatever runs online of is functional and it meets their if it meets their requirements and happiness, it don't matter what anybody else in the world think, because why? They're the CEOs and investors putting money into the company, not us as gamers. Yeah, we're buying the games, but we're not investing into Nintendo. So if something fails, we don't get that investment back. That's the stuff that really matters when it comes to online. Now, if they want to go out and look for someone to help them, those investors got to make that decision. And that's just business.
Yeah. The business side of things kind of sucks, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Our last question comes from Late to Gaming. This will probably be a quick one. Do you think Luigi will ever get his own game outside of the Luigi's Mansion series? He did.
Yes.
Mario's missing.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo.
He'll get another game.
Yeah. Yeah. I would actually think a Luigi platformer would be really interesting. I know they did new Super Luigi U, but I want like a real 2D Luigi platformer, like a real one.
Yeah. I love the Peach one with the umbrellas, the parasols.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they did that.
That
Super
was a lot of
Princess
fun.
Peach.
Super
Yeah.
Princess Peach. That was fun as heck.
That's the
Just do
one that
another just a Luigi
she
game.
used her emotions to solve
Yes.
puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, it was, very misogynistic, but it was a lot of fun. It's just like, okay, she's angry. Look, she's on her period. She killed a bunch of Koopas. Fantastic. But
Great.
I think a Luigi game would be fun as a platformer, or even as like a puzzle game, or a cooking game. I would love to see Luigi do a cooking
I
game.
kind of see him as doing something like Phoenix Wright or something.
Oh
Well, I
no.
mean, like I mean, you really, Dad, do a Mario's Missing sequel where Luigi is some kind of, police detective or lawyer or district attorney.
Sounds kind of cool,
Make it
actually.
yeah, make it like a serious like narrative, but all of the seriousness is what makes it funny, because all the toads. I think toads are so funny. I was so
Mm-hmm.
disappointed that Michael Keegan Key, who played Toad in the film, wasn't Michael Keegan Key. Like, if he had been himself, if you know the Key and Peele skits where he plays Luther, the anger translator for
Yeah.
for Jordan Peele's Obama, if that had been Toad, like I would have like that would have that's what I imagined and I was hoping for. But they just took his voice and pitched it up, so it was kind of pointless. It was just putting a name on something. I mean, it didn't sound like him because it was all pitched up. But the games have so much humor. My favorite is in Color Splash. I don't know if y'all played that Paper Mario Color Splash or whatever it's called.
Yes,
It was on the
I
Wii
love
U.
that game.
It's a great game, and you walk into this level as Mario, and the color's all missing, and you figure out the puzzle, and there's a little house there, and you bring the color into the house, and then hundreds of toads start pouring out.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids are lucky because they grew up with my ex-wife too. Like, I will play the game, and they'll make decisions, and I'll read everything in characters. And so I was Toad. It was great because everybody was Toad. Um, and so the last Toad like trickles out and he goes, Mario, oh, thanks, we got trapped in there. It was a lot of us. It got weird in there. It's just
Oh,
like
you
so
need
funny.
you gotta play Paper Mario, the Origami King,
I
because
have
there
it, but
is.
I haven't played it yet. I've got
Oh,
it
you
sitting here.
need to
I borrowed
start
it from
it.
someone like 7 years ago, and I never gave it back to him. And I think it's worth a lot of money, and I feel bad. But anyway, I think it would be fun to take that humor and bring Luigi into it, because he is a
Yes.
big, like, aloof doof, that it would be fun to put him. I mean, and always, and I love the old the Super Show Luigi, and then like just like the Mario, like, hey Mario, we got to fix this problem, and like just like he's just kind of like always on edge and dumb. And I think it'd be fun to see what kind of hijinks he can get into. And I'm sure as the MCU expands, we will see more and more of these characters get offshoot games, and it won't be long before I buy a Princess Peach frying pan, and
It's coming.
a Toad rectal itch suppository. So it's all coming, dude.
Man.
Huh. I was thinking maybe like a Luigi, like super, like give him like Superman powers or something. Just like
What if
a
Luigi
weird
goes into the
bumbling.
Matrix?
Yeah, maybe like superhero powers. So like a bumbling weird superhero, like a
Yeah.
very reluctant hero. Like the flying mechanics of that, I feel like would be kind of cool. Like Super Luigi, kind of give him like the emblem on the chest.
Oh my gosh, that'd be
Maybe
hilarious.
like muscles, like or like a muscle suit. Maybe he like inherits like a muscle suit
Mm-hmm.
and like has to fight crime with the muscle suit on or something. Could be interesting. But he's still like kind of like a dopey idiot kind of idea.
I love it. Where is my super suit?
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
man.
That'd be amazing.
Or like maybe all the characters go like kind of follow that like Incredibles feeling where like Mario and all the different characters go missing and he has to put on this like enchanted super suit to go save them.
I think Master Hand is always a great, like they can always use Master Hand as a bad guy in any kind of situation. That would be a great
Mm-hmm.
situation. Comes down, grabs up everybody. Luigi's left. He's got to travel. He runs into Rosalina. He's got to run and go through these different galaxies and find them and beat the crap out of them. I mean, it's so easy. You just ask a 10-year-old, what would you want to see? And you come up with a bunch of great ideas. Or a guy in a closet who has a great one about a Super Luigi.
Those hands in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Wall Masters.
That grass. Oh, those hands are. Oh, those hands
I
are
love Wall Masters.
Terrifying. You hear
From the
me?
first game,
Terrifying.
From
Yes,
the first game. Love it.
the first game, them coming out the wall, I love that. But when you can't see them on top of the screen because of the camera, and they just
shadow.
come down and grab you, oh, it's terrifying.
It's good stuff. I like
the weirdly short like Tyrannosaurus Rex Luigi arms, like battling like a super hand. Like it practically writes itself.
Just think about it. Luigi has to find the Triforce because someone stole it and it's from a different gang, so he has to jump.
What if Luigi just jumped Nintendo games where like he has to go
my
solve
Yeah.
a Zelda dungeon?
Yeah, it's like a WarioWare style, just like real fast, moving around quickly. He's got like the Tesseract, and he keeps moving around between universes. And
he breaks the fourth wall. He becomes Deadpool.
Yeah,
that's the game / TV show out for. I will watch. I will play.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Comes out of Disney Plus like She-Hulk and just pops into another show.
I love that, breaking the fourth wall. Look at the camera. I used to sound like Charles Martinet, and now I'm Charlie Day.
What if he popped into an episode of Always Sunny? Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Oh yes, I love this.
Oh man,
I'm writing this down.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh
Game
my gosh.
idea.
Man, Ed, get us out of here before we come in with more bad ideas.
Well, everybody, that's going to be it for Nintendo Pow Block. Mustin, go ahead and plug. Where can people find you and find your music?
Mustin.net is my website that is basically trying to get you to hire me, but it does link you to all my stuff. I'm trying to get as many people following me on Twitter for some reason. I think it's because I'm old. That's at Mustin. I did get on TikTok recently. I put a video up yesterday. I did I made a cut of The Last Jedi. It just says Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And then it just has the ships going through space. So that really boring chase that's in that movie. And then it cuts to written and directed by Ryan Johnson. That's the best video I've ever, I've gotten so many. I really stirred the pot with that one. But my TikTok is at Mustin Enterprises. I've been putting videos up there like not behind the scenes, but like fun stuff with the Mario mixtape that I've done. I have Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, but you can find it. It's Mustin, Mustin. But my album that I'm just released, the best way to do it is on YouTube, which is bit.ly/Mario Mixtape YT. And the reason for that is because I made this visualizer. It's got a video game in the background. Mario's head is turning like a clock to show you how long the song's been going. But there's points where I did these little Easter eggs. So if you have it on a screen and you're doing work on the other in your spreadsheet or whatever, when you're drawing, and you hear something that sounds like, is that Rick? Did I just get Rick rolled? And then you look over and you do see Rick Astley dancing in the background of Mario 64. It helps just kind of inform like where I got a lot of my ideas. At one point during a Super Smash track, everything just drops out and you just hear the home run bat and Ness just shows up on the screen. So it's like a lot of fun. You don't have to super pay attention to it, but it does show you kind of like some Easter eggs of where I got my stuff. So that's bit.ly/Mario Mixtape YT. If you want to listen to it, it's available anywhere you want to listen. But if you want to buy it, you can buy it digitally or get a CD, and that's on Bandcamp, and it has an extra track where it's my son's favorite track. It's the Super Mario World Forest of Illusion. It's like a cool hip hop kind of thing, chill. But if you remember in Super Mario World, Mario is climbing on the fence and he pounds on it and then it turns around.
Yes.
So it's like this cool hip hop vibe, but then it goes, it makes that sound and then it turns around and then the music turns 8-bit. It's really neat, and then it turns around again using the door sound, and it's really interesting and fun, and I really like it. I kind of bummed that I ended up putting it as a bonus track because not everybody's going to get to hear it, but it makes me that much more happy that people who buy it digitally or buy the CD get to hear it. So all the music, anywhere you like to listen, that is just bit.ly/Mario Mixtape.
All right.
Nice.
Well, thank you, Mustin, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Daniel. Everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Goodbye.
Nintendo Pow Block is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. The show is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-hosts are Corey Derrick and Cordy Yikes. You can find Corey at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. You can find Cordy at Cordy_Yikes on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. You can find me at That Richard Cole on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Nintendo Pow Block on all social media platforms at Pow Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Visit bossrush.net for more great content and patreon.com/bossrushmedia to learn how you can support the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.